You're listening to Loud on the Set with Kyle and James. Hold on to your butts. And action.
All right, welcome back to the show. My name is Kyle.
This is James.
And today we've got an interesting topic for you. It's kind of going to solidify why we're even making a podcast right now. I think some big questions will be revealed here. But James, what is our topic for today?
Why go see a movie?
Why indeed? Why would we go see a movie?
Yes, this forms part of our sort of get to know you series. You know, why would I bother listening to these guys' podcast, if you will, right?
And why listen to a movie review podcast if you don't see movies? You know, that seems dumb. But I think a lot of people do see movies, and I think there's a lot of reasons behind that. So let's break it down a little bit. And James, I want to start with you. What are some reasons that you go and see films?
Okay, well, I would like to start on a somewhat serious note, Kyle.
Okay, all right. We can do that, I think.
I go see movies to be informed.
Oh.
I love documentaries.
I would never know it.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I have a non-podcast life. This is not my life.
What?
And I'm a pretty serious guy.
Oh.
How
disappointing.
I love, yeah. There's depth here. It probably started from a very early age. My mom, for whatever reason, decided, you know what, I'm going to raise my kids to watch a lot of nature documentaries. Remember the National Geographic?
Oh,
National
absolutely.
Geographic, right?
Absolutely.
So she plopped me in front of the TV. We would watch National Geographic all the time. And
good job, James's mom.
Yeah, thanks,
Excellent
Mom.
work.
Thanks, you're the best. And I love the nature documentaries. It probably led me to where I am today, our field that we work in,
I'm
Kyle,
sure, yeah.
without giving too much of that up. And then later on in life, I transitioned into broader topics. I love to be informed about politics, the environment, human rights, animal rights, you name it, women's rights. I go crazy. And to me, I love the feeling of having spent an hour and a half, 2 hours, and being truly informed about something. Whether that's going to a packed movie house and looking around, let's say Berkeley, and knowing that everybody in the audience has that shared interest and that desire to be informed and possibly make a change afterwards after being informed.
Absolutely.
Or sharing DVDs with my family and friends after I've been informed. Like, here, check this out.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting point. So we've got a lot of venues where we can see movies, and one of the most comfortable, sitting on your couch at home, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody's got some different type of streaming service or something like that now, and you can see a lot of really good documentaries and stay informed on a lot of different topics that are changing all around us all the time. So that's definitely a good place to do that. I too like watching documentaries.
Great.
I like nature documentaries. I like all sorts of documentaries. One of the reasons that I like documentaries a lot is the passion that goes into the films that they're making. I really like seeing the movies and knowing that the people behind the camera were really invested in that cause. When you turn on the news, people can gloss over stories, and it's their job to read it. However, the PC corporate headquarters wants
the sanitized version,
right, their message to come out. And there's good and bad with that kind of freedom that comes with making a documentary. You can get that great passion and energy behind it. And also, you should stay informed, and if these are topics that you're really interested in, dig deeper. Let it whet your appetite and go all in on it. Learn a lot about it. Because, of course, with anything, with all of our media or anything, you can't have bias on these films, and you can't see some of that seeping in. But these are a fantastic way to whet your appetite, put visuals to something that maybe is dense and might be hard to read about for countless hours and stay informed with. So I absolutely love watching documentaries. Do you have any favorite documentaries? I'm curious.
Ooh, you put me on the spot.
I did. I have a couple.
You definitely put. For yours.
My favorite nature documentary was the Planet Earth series. And one of the reasons that I love that so much was, from a filmmaking standpoint, it was absolutely marvelous, and the task that they put themselves to make that film was unbelievable. I got the Blu-ray cut right when it came out, watched it, and it totally blew me away. The visuals are so astounding, and one of the things that just those visuals inspired me to do was be passionate about the environment and want to preserve that natural world out there that we can see that's so gorgeous. So I think a lot of people get exposure through that.
You know, I share your opinion about the Planet Earth series. I own it as well. Not on bootleg.
No
not bootleg. I actually have the genuine thing.
Yeah, hopefully we'll ever know what that's about.
Not today. Teasers. Anyway, I really appreciate what you said about the Planet Earth series. And I'm going to list one that not a lot of people know about, and it's called Winged Migration. It's another nature Date your documentary.
Date your
Holy cow.
documentary.
Can't get through one.
You heard it straight from James'
All right.
mouth.
No, we're not. Jesus, leave it, I guess. Leave it in. We're rolling. Anyways, winged migration tracks, of course, the migration of birds up and down their corridors as they travel from, let's say, the upper reaches of the Arctic all the way down to South America. And they have light aircraft that flies alongside the birds. And you want to talk about effort to capture footage.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, beautiful. And I'm going to go back to something you said about the effort and the energy put in by the movie makers. Think about the amount of material that you might have to read, the amount of books or articles, or the amount of research you might have to do on a specific topic. They do all that, and they condense it down to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever it may be.
We hope they do all that, right?
And you get all that, you know,
Yeah,
and you gain access to information that would have been incredibly difficult for you to summarize in an enjoyable, interesting, and thought-provoking, and yes, artful way.
That's, of course, very important because, and I have seen, and I'm sure you've seen, some documentaries that have, in fact, bored me to tears. And I think that that's the stereotype a lot of people feel when they go into it, is they're afraid that it's going to just be something very dry that they're not going to be involved with. But now there's so much access to technology and ways to film these, and there's so many talented people that do research all day. That's their job, and they can write a compelling narrative stringing in all that information. So I think it's a great way to go and read up or learn a little bit about a topic and also see something entertaining as well.
Yes, sir.
Staying informed, that's a great way to go see movies. And you don't have to go to the movie theater and drop a whole lot of money on it. There's lots of things you can see, DVDs and things you can view in a home collection as well. Pros and cons to both. We'll probably hit that in its own podcast one day pretty soon.
I was just thinking the same exact thing because now that I'm sitting here, at least 5 or 6 other favorites have come to mind of documentaries, and we should save it.
We'll
let's
roll
put it
on
in
a
the pocket.
whole documentary podcast.
Yeah, put it in the pocket.
Coming
right?
up soon, sometime.
Absolutely.
Don't quote me on that, but it'll be soon. All right, let's go on to a couple other reasons, because besides staying informed, which maybe is not the norm for everybody, but is a good reason to see movies, what are some other reasons that we go and see movies?
Okay, I have one other quick reason.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention it. This is probably going to be a podcast in the future as well, so let's tease it.
Teasers.
And it's situational, or a term that I coined. I call them my crutch movies.
Crutch films.
Kyle understood crutch at first to mean, whoa, is this something you watch when you're injured? And I said, no, man. Crutch to me means like a lean, like a fallback, a go-to, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Anyway, so now I call them, whatever you want to call them, situational, go-to, lean-on movies, crutch movies. Perhaps it's a certain holiday coming up. Perhaps you're in, I don't know, Kyle, you need what? A pick-me-up, right?
Well, it is August, so we should be getting ready for Christmas right about now, I believe.
Never too early to start watching your favorite
too
Christmas.
early.
Yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas right around the corner.
Yeah.
So,
but that's one, Charlie Brown Christmas. I think a lot of people have a connection with that, too.
It's only like a 22-minute movie, and yet it's beautiful and timeless, and so that's a crutch, right?
Yeah, fits the niche there.
Do you agree, Kyle? Do you have situational / go-to / fallback / old reliable / crutch movies in your life?
Absolutely, and one of the great things about when I'm just watching TV and I'm bored after a long day at work or any situation, if I'm flipping through the channels and the movie The Fugitive, starring Harrison Ford, comes on television, I sit down and I watch it wherever it is in that film to the very end because I like it so much. So that's definitely a crutch movie. I always get captivated by that story. So that's one of my crutch films. As far as the holidays go, yeah, you mentioned some really common ones. Lots of those Charlie Brown things, right? Have a strong connection from when we were a kid, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And yeah, I definitely think that I have some crutch films. If I just want to see some things blow up, I got a couple movies I'll throw on for that.
Absolutely.
If I want to see high drama, I got a couple for that. And
Great.
Lots of good sci-fi.
Let's save it. Let's save it for a future podcast.
Yeah.
Who's going to star with us on that one? Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe it's you listening. Maybe you will come in. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. So I think one of the most common reasons most people go to see films is for the glorified escape. You're done with your day, the weekend's coming up, you're gonna go escape. I've talked about it, I've seen some movies recently, and they've been escapes for me, and I've been able to look at them, analyze them both critically and as a fun escape or something to go see. So, James, lead us in this discussion about this escape, this idea that we go and see some escape films.
Yes, let's go. I think that, Kyle and I, and perhaps our listeners, it's probably the number one reason why I go see movies, to get that escape, to escape from reality, to feed our imaginations. And I go back and I think about my childhood, and oh boy, is is my childhood packed with movies that caused me to escape reality. I'll throw out a couple right now.
Yeah.
How about this, Kyle? Tell me what you think about each one on our list. Ghostbusters.
Ugh.
Why does
Spores,
it-
molds, and fungus. I collect them.
Why does it keep popping up in our podcast? Great movie, classic comedy, one of my favorites. But I can't ignore the fact that as a little kid, after seeing not just the first one, but the second one, yeah, me and my brother would strap old book bags to our back and have plastic toy guns and
Absolutely.
run some sort of rope between the backpack, the book bag we were wearing, and the plastic gun, and that's our
You
proton
made
pack.
your own proton packs.
Yeah, we busted ghosts. We'd roll out like broken video games like old Nintendos, and that was the trap. You know? And I know you
That's
could have
awesome.
I know
How
you
clever.
could
How
I know
clever.
you could have went out and bought these toys, but we didn't. You know, like we didn't. We
Why
made
bother? Yeah.
we made our own traps.
Capture your own imagination.
The containment unit was a functional Nintendo, so the ghost was trapped in the cartridge, and you
Oh.
put it in,
Brilliant.
and we pretended to see the ghost in the containment unit by turning the TV to static. Like, oh, you see it, and the TV's just, static.
That's awesome.
Ghostbusters really sucked me out of my real world and put me in a new place. In a similar vein, Indiana Jones.
Oh,
Kyle?
absolutely.
Come on,
Indiana
man.
Jones. Why did it have to be snakes? Indiana Jones. When I was a kid making movies, I made a film called California Jones. And it was a little short that I made in the basement where basically I swung around a stick and was like, California Jones! And that movie had such an impact on me. And I think that film is, I mean, it's touted as a great movie and all, but underrated in the fact that it balances so many, we talked about tone being a big issue in some of the films now, it balances so many different tones altogether and gives you a real genuine all-around experience that you could
Absolutely.
expect. And seeing that as a kid, you're more susceptible to, letting little breaks in filmmaking or critique go. And that was one of those movies that truly affected me with all captured my imagination completely. And that's what this is about, right? The escape, capturing the imagination. I can remember one of the first movie-going experiences I had was seeing the Star Wars re-release in the theaters. One of the reasons I go to see movies now is because when I saw Star Wars that first time, I was seeing all my dreams and imagination being put up on the screen. You were able to see things that you could have only imagined, and then now they were capable of being put on the screen. You had sounds, you had everything, totally immersive experience, and totally captured my imagination. And going and seeing movies now, that's what I'm looking for. It's to like be transported and completely absorbed into that world. And it's fairly difficult to find something that has that type of quality in it. But every once in a while, something surprises me. But I fall back, as you said, I crutch onto these a lot when I want to try and rekindle that spark that first brought me there.
Excellent. That's what you referred to one time when we talked about this, is chasing the feeling, right?
Chasing that feeling.
Kyle is forever looking to relive that moment when he was totally engrossed by Star Wars, chasing that feeling, hoping that the next movie will do that to him.
Hoping.
True escapism.
Very, very much hoping. And with the new Star Wars right around the corner, I can't be more eager
Yeah.
to hope that that's what it's going
Right?
to do.
Let's feed that imagination. Let's chase that feeling, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I had a couple more, Kyle.
Yeah.
Let me see what you think about these.
Okay.
Again, escaping from reality. And we're
Right.
still doing it in a sort of nostalgia way, but I'll wrap up with a modern example.
Yeah,
You know,
let's do
I'm still a little kid
Yeah.
sometimes in the movies. Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, after we see Rocky, what do? Box.
We hit each other.
I have two brothers. Oh boy, we strapped on our triple fat goose, humongous puffy winter jackets and our big winter gloves. Kyle, you grew up in Ohio, you know what a winter is like.
I do.
And you can punch the living daylights out of each other when you have full winter gear on and
Absolutely.
you don't feel it, but the blows are real. It's
Oh
great.
man, snow pants were the greatest thing that nobody out here on the West Coast knows anything about. You could put on snow pants and that was like armor. You run around all day and you'd stay dry and happy. That was like a big suit of puffy boxing armor. Yeah, I can definitely see how you could do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally an escape. And yeah, we're always looking for that. You have so many chances to use the technology that we have now to recapture what anybody's thinking in their mind, whatever story they could come up with. You can pretty much, you have limitless potential to put it up on the screen now and put it into people's minds. So it's really interesting.
You know, speaking of the put it into your mind. Right?
Oh, okay.
Here's my modern day example.
Oh, great.
Iron Man.
Yes.
Right? Ooh, boy, Iron Man had an impact on me. And let me tell you why. I'm sure, Kyle, you've had reoccurring dreams, right?
I have.
What are one of your reoccurring dreams?
Oh,
Trust me, this will make sense. This will make sense.
Oh,
Kyle,
all my teeth just falling out into my hands, just blood going everywhere out of my mouth. That's a bad one.
oh my God. Okay, I was hoping for something a little bit happier. But
when I was studying spiders, there were just spiders all over me all the time and all over the room. You wanted a happy example? Let's see. Happy example. Yeah, I can't think of a really happy recurring dream. Oh, you know what? When I was writing screenplays in college and when I was writing stories, some reoccurring dreams I had were stories that I needed to get out of my head and write down. So they kept popping up night after night, kind of like the same thing happening in the same way. So then I would put it down on paper and get it out of my head.
Okay.
So yeah, those are my reoccurring dreams.
I'm not gonna lie, I was sort of hoping for a typical answer here.
A normal
flying.
example. Well, you're talking to me, so what do you want?
Most people will say flying. Like, I fly. All right, Kyle, you know.
I'm full of surprises.
You're full of surprises here. I believe it or not, have recurring dreams centered around marine mammals. I find myself swimming in the ocean with killer whales and dolphins and manatees. And
stuff
yeah,
like I get eaten by sharks a lot in my dreams too.
Oh boy. All right, why am I talking about reoccurring dreams? Well, because my reoccurring dreams are always centered around, like I just said a second ago, having the ability to swim like a dolphin, hang out with killer whales, chill out with manatees, things that I've actually done before, so it makes a little bit of sense. With the exception of the killer whales. Not yet.
Not yet.
What does this have anything to do with Iron Man? Well, typically people say, oh, I love it when I fly in my dreams. I fly all the time in my dreams, and so on and so forth. I'm up in the clouds, and it's the greatest feeling. It feels so real. And I think, wow, I've never had a flying dream. I'm going to tell you something right now. Never. I've never once.
Have you ever had a falling dream?
Yeah, but
okay.
Is that flying?
No, it's different. Falling with style.
All right, yeah. After I saw Iron Man in the theaters and I was completely satisfied, like we said in podcast 2, completely satisfied.
Completely.
Went home that night, went to sleep, and that very night, I had my first ever flying dream.
Oh, broke the mold.
It was amazing. I strapped on an Iron Man suit in my dream and I flew around, and it was the best. So talk about escapism. I mean, that's probably the prime example. I don't think we can get any more. You totally escaped. Yeah, you freed your mind. It was great.
Yeah, that's a fantastic example. One of the things I kind of want to follow up with this escapism is the fact that this is a relatively new storytelling medium. All throughout history, we have different types of storytelling. We came up with written word that we could write and store in books after we were just verbally telling stories. Then we were acting them out and saving them, and people would pass that along. Then we had pictures that we could use, and then somebody figured out how to make the pictures move. And now we can basically create anything and put it up there and put it in people's minds, for better or worse, right?
Yeah.
You can have some garbage that goes in people's brains forever. But you can use that so well and wield this power to create any dreams that you have, any dreams that you want to have, and you can put them in people's minds if they haven't been able to, experience that, or they didn't even know that they wanted something so amazing. But I think that it takes all the different factors to make it work on such a big level. All the movies that you listed so far, all the movies that I listed, are films that are, I would say, generally considered great in terms of all the different aspects. The screenwriting, the acting that went into it, sets, costumes, the camera work, the direction, everything is top-notch. And it takes all those factors to make it immersive. If something is off, it feels totally wrong. If, as I've tried, you've ever looked at a period movie before and you've seen like little things that are out of place, maybe in a lower budget film, totally takes you out of the immersion.
Yeah.
And it takes all those factors to put it together, so we can have these really great movies made now where they can just do anything with computers, and we can use that to create these escapes. So I really think that's, why I would go and see a movie, is for that feeling and to get that.
A classic example of that, not that we have to keep sort of going to the lowbrow examples of comic book movies, but comic books, right? For the longest time, they were a print media, newspapers, right? And then, of course, they become full-color, beautiful comics.
And then all of us nerds were able to emerge from out of the nerd closet.
And they captured people's imaginations for the longest time, for decades, with just comic books, right?
Yeah.
And only recently have they finally gotten it right. Or I don't want to say gotten it right, but the special effects, all the elements have come together, like Kyle just mentioned. They can finally translate it. So that's a perfect example of something that has gone through those historical transitions. And I'll never forget when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans were coming out,
Mm-hmm.
I was at the gym one time at my college, and I overheard two very old professors that I knew talking about how excited they were to see Spider-Man. And I thought, oh gosh, this is a little odd. You're like 50 some odd years old. Why would you be excited to see Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man? Like, I was excited, but I'm a young guy, youngish, right? And so I asked him, I go, hey, you guys talk about Spider-Man? And the professor, without even hesitating, kept up that childlike enthusiasm. He said, yeah, I can't wait. And I kind of gave him this look, as if to say, why? Or can you explain that? And he goes, hey, listen, man, I don't know about you, but I've been waiting my whole life for them to get Spider-Man right. Because Spider-Man had been great in the comics, right?
Yeah.
He's always been great in the comics. But the TV miniseries were kind of god-awful, right? Where he was wearing roundish goggles and like actually using rope instead of web, right? Cartoons don't quite do it for adults a lot of times. They're very childish. Like Saturday morning cartoons, well, you're a dad. You don't really want to watch that, right? But now the movies caught up,
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Good
We can translate them really well now,
Yeah.
and I think that people, can appreciate those different mediums now that we have a way to. I think film is a really accessible thing. Almost everybody has a TV or a computer in their household now.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can get on YouTube and look at things that people are creating on their own, right? People are just making movies now. It's an easy thing to do. So we have all this resource at our fingertips. And when you can sit down for 2 hours and watch a movie, a lot of people choose that over reading a book or doing some other type of activity. If you just want to relax and do something, I don't want to say a little bit mindless, but something you don't have to work too hard at, this is a media that kind of fills that niche. And you can use it for great information in documentaries. You can use it for complete escapism, or you can tell a really interesting story that you want to tell. We have all of that at our fingertips. It's relatively easy and accessible to the masses.
Kyle, I see what's happening here. One of these days, we're gonna make a movie.
We're gonna make a movie. Man, what's it gonna be about? You'll find out next time. No, sometime. Yeah.
Sometime. We'll see. We'll
All
see.
right. Well, that brings us to the end of our show today. Thank you guys for listening again. We have so much fun stuff planned, so stay in touch. Go see some great movies. Think about why you want to go see them, and have a great time watching them.
See you later.
And cut.